Sorensen's going to start this one off in the new blind level.
I mean, what? Sorensen's got about 1,000 people's chips in front of him, and Petkov has got 600 people's chips in front of him. Something like that.
This could be a huge hand here. Ace-8 for Sorensen and King-Jack suited for Petkov. These are very premium hands, heads up.
Yeah, real rare gems.
Petkov electing to just call. A shove is fine too. That was an option. Gonna take the lower variance route, not leave it to chance.
Brick, brick, brick.
Well, at least Sorensen picks up the gut shot. Still got the overcard as well.
And the ace high is good.
And is currently ahead indeed.
What are the chances Sorensen would get a laces out reference if I made it?
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I can't help
Oh,
you.
there you go. Probably not very good then.
Oh man, well that didn't turn into anything. That's somewhat disappointing.
I think probably some more chips should have gone in before the flop there.
Possibly so. Danny is saying, still have to sadly go for a run this evening, but we'll continue to listen to you guys via the app. Yes, I got a lot of time for the app. I've used it a lot this week. The thing I mostly like about the app is how quickly it launches. Like, press a button, bang, I get to hear Joe and James while I'm on my break. Hashtag PokerStarsTV if you want to chat to us on Twitter, incidentally. This one is going to start with Petkov. Ace, Jack, hearts. That's so pretty.
And that is a limp in. Queen 6 for Sorensen.
Oh.
Okay, all right, we've got some action here. Middle pair for Sorensen. Bottom pair, but a decent draw to go with it for Petkov.
And everyone pretty underrepresented here, the way they just limped into this flop.
Petkov with the bottom pair. No need to bet here. Not protecting from very much. An ace makes 2 pair, 10 makes a straight. And how are you going to get a worse hand to call? Just check, keep it small, and play a turn.
That's the thing, isn't it? Is you don't want to get greedy. You want to get paid off. And getting paid off something is better than being greedy and getting paid nothing.
So Petkov hoping to induce some bluffs here. Unfortunately, he's got the worst of it.
Does have 20% equity though. Percentage chance to win this hand. A jack, an ace, a 10 would improve Petkov's holding.
I like your positive approach to it.
1 and 5.
20% equity is not that bad headed to the river.
No.
Is the glass 80% full or 20% empty? No, that doesn't really work, does it? I'm just trying to be clever there.
Don't do that.
No. Come on, the river. Disappointingly, the 5 of diamonds doesn't really do anything for us.
Now here's a weird one. Is Sorensen going to choose to bet again with the second pair? Because that would be sort of kind of like a bluff. And it might work. Not that it needs to.
Check, check. 9 million in the pot, so nothing to be disappointed about at all.
He's going to pull away from Petkov. Petkov down to 12 big blinds.
Yeah. Petkov had managed to get himself back up to near parity, but now, yeah, definitely going to feel the pinch. feel like if Sorensen just gets a little bit further away, then it's going to start being desperate times for Lashazar Petkov. Seemed like a good guy when we saw your interview with him, Joe. Mr.
Petkov, yeah. He's a fan. Loves watching poker.
That helps.
I can't think of any other quote-unquote sport, even though I don't really consider poker a sport. There's a lot of similarities, especially in the way we broadcast it. I can't think of any other sport where so many fans go on to be superstars.
True.
Go on to win championships. Tom Brady isn't like, I saw football on TV last year, and I thought I'd give it a try. I started throwing the ball in my backyard.
Roger Federer, yeah. Well, my wife for my 30th birthday got me a tennis racket, and a couple of lessons with a pro, and it just turned out I was really absolutely awesome at it.
The barrier of entry into poker is almost nothing.
Right.
You could start.
It can be nothing. It can be a free roll.
Absolutely.
Conor McGregor is like, you know what? One time when I was 22, I choked a guy, and I was like, yeah, I could make a living at this.
His lights went out so quickly. Everyone said to me, wow.
You're so good at choking a guy.
Yeah, unbelievable. The way that guy just lost consciousness. You barely touched him, and he was out.
Have you ever considered professionally choking people?
And the rest, as they say, is history.
I entered a choking free roll. Choked 30,000 people. Won $6.
Meanwhile, in this poker tournament,
This choker tournament
takes us cheaply to a Jack-7 deuce double diamond flop. 2 pair without really trying for Petkov. Best part of nothing for Sorensen, sadly. The thing is, being a poker commentator is a bit like being a spider. You just have to sit and wait. And yeah, we see that Petkov's just going to win this, and probably nothing's going to happen. But at some point, they'll both hit something huge on the flop, and then we can just lick our lips. Get ready to reel in the good stuff.
Hollywood Park Casino, through their toothless grins and their faded tattooed arms, always see a flop.
Now, I just feel I should add a disclaimer to that bit of advice. Is that advice might not be what we actually consider to be advice. It might just be Joe saying something out loud.
All right, ace-7 deuce here on the flop. 2 hearts. Limp pot. And Petkov flopping the second pair. Gonna put a little bet out here.
When you say little, do you mean millions and millions of chips?
Relative.
Right, okay. I just don't want us to lose respect for the amount of chips and how many people's tournament lives each individual chip represents.
It's like someone driving a Lamborghini in Monaco, right? It's like it's a car.
That's true. That's true.
Like we think it's a great car, but in Monaco, it's a car.
That's true. Thank you for grounding me. It's humbling. So 30 minutes left on the clock here. 500,000, 1 million blinds.
And we did confirm earlier on that the furthest we've ever gone in a main event was to level 40, which is 600,000, 1.2 million blinds. That was in Barcelona in 2014 when Andre Letao won the title. So if this heads-up battle is still going in 33 minutes' time, we're going to equal the record. No one seems particularly thrilled about that.
Well, it sounds both awesome and slightly depressing.
It's real fun after. The next day.
Yeah, to look back on it and go, God, do you remember that? can you believe we got to the 600,000 1.2? But at the moment, you're just like, do you know, that's a lot of chips.
You know you've gone deep into the tournament structure when the only chips in play are the 100Ks and the 500Ks. And they don't come bigger than the Burgundies. So yes, here we are, heads up in the PokerStars Championship Barcelona main event. And hello, if you've just joined us, hashtag PokerStars TV. If you want to tweet any questions or comments to the booth, it's James Hartigan, Matt Broughton, Jamie Staples from Team PokerStars Pro Online. And we have reached hand 142 of the final table.
I would like to see a 5 million chip, but only one should exist. And it's like the size of a dinner plate, and you have it in front of you, and you're really reluctant to use it, but sometimes you have to use it. And that pot, when you lose that, you just moves across the table like a real prestige chip.
Surely there has to be an international rule that any chip with a value of 1 million or above has to be a plaque.
I said this earlier on. I'm all about the plaques. I want to see the plaques backs.
Jamie, have you ever played poker with plaques?
Not yet. It's a life goal of mine.
That was the thing I miss about Deauville. They had the plaques.
Oh, they were good.
So Sebastian Sorensen still with a huge chip lead. Roughly 40 big blinds playing Lachizar Petkov's 10 big blind stack. And this would be an amazing accomplishment for a guy who won his seat online, playing only his second ever live tournament.
Yeah, I was speculating earlier how long it will be before the semi part of semi-pro is removed from the bio.
Aces go to waste.
The best starting hand versus the worst starting hand. The beauty of the 7 deuce.
By the way, all the shouting you can hear in the room is not people getting overexcited about the dealer shuffling the cards. There are other tournaments being played here at Casino Barcelona on the last day of the PokerStars Championship, including the 10K High Roller. If you're interested in what's happening in that, if you want to know why everyone's screaming and hollering, check out the live updates via the PokerStarsblog.com. We are obviously focusing on the main event. We've been following this tournament from day 2. Was it 850 odd players? 880 maybe came into day 2? So
yeah.
we followed it from nearly 900 players down to the final 2. The tournament began with 1,682 entrants.
We were just saying how each single chip in action represents so many players who have joined us and left us. Let us never forget them.
And of course, a reminder that the players did strike a deal three-handed. They're no longer playing for the advertised payouts. Lachizar Petkov has locked up 917,000 euros, while Sebastian Sorensen is guaranteed 887,000 euros, but they are still playing for an additional 100k, plus, of course, the title and trophy. And it won't be often in your life that you find yourself playing heads-up poker for 100,000 euros.
Oh, do you know, I can't even remember the last time. You Jamie?
No, it's been a while.
Been a pretty long while.
So this was unraised pre-flop. A 2-pair hand for Sorensen. Nothing for Petkov to be excited about. Sorensen will bet flop, 2,900. Petkov folds.
It can be a game of patience, heads up. You know, sometimes you hit some big hands, they keep folding, you pick up a monster like aces pre-flop, you raise, they fold. It can be frustrating. You really got to stay patient. Wait for that moment to take it down.
Yeah. Sriley is asking on hashtag PokerStars TV, any particular style of sunglasses you would suggest to wear while playing? Well, one, you don't have to wear sunglasses. But I would say, whichever style you go for, make sure that you can see through them. Like, make sure they block out the light. Make sure they block your eyes if that's what you're worried about people seeing. But make sure you can see through them. I did make a mistake of that once and it didn't go well.
King Jack here for Sorensen on the button. Pretty solid starting hand, heads up. This is a raise to 3.4 million.
Ooh.
Petkov shoving with Queen Jack.
How much is it? Like 8 million?
8.6 million total, 5.2 million to call. And Sorensen does call, and this could be it. King Jack against Queen Jack. Sorensen with a dominating hand. He is a 75% favourite, not just to win this hand, but to win the tournament. Petkov is going to get to need very lucky here. He only has one live card, that live card being a queen.
Yeah, and Petkov invokes the power of the Bulgarian rail to shout for it. There you go.
The Bulgarians are calling for a queen. If we don't see a queen, Sebastian Sorensen has won the tournament. Well, the jack doesn't change anything, although that is a straight draw for Petkov out there. And now he can pair his queen or hit a 9 to make a straight, so 7 cards save him from elimination. A 6 on the turn, and it's a spade. Additional outs for Petkov. At 14 cards he can hit now. Any queen, any 9, any spade.
That's a lot of cards still in the deck.
The river card is a 9. It's the straight for Petkov, and he doubles up. Gets it in bad, gets lucky. The Bulgarians go wild. We will play on.
Wow.
Now, in normal circumstances, there would be a dinner break at the end of this level, but these are not normal circumstances. We've talked excessively about how shallow these two players are, and realistically, the tournament should end this level in the next 24 minutes. If it doesn't, we do go to the 600,000, 1.2 million blind level, in which case it should probably end during that level. So it would seem silly to go away for 75 minutes, come back and potentially play 2 hands.
Queen 8 offsuit here, limping into the pot. Pretty average hand, but heads up will certainly do.
Up against 6-7 off.
And swing and a miss.
Almost nothing for anyone. You wouldn't think that would be very easy to do, but time and time again, the flop completely under-delivering. Ace, Jack, 4, 2 diamonds.
Mark Baggett was a big fan of that hand. River save for the straight. That was intense and suspenseful.
So Petkov betting with the Queen 8 here, which we see as the best hand. I'm just going to take it down. It's almost as everyone has gotten calm. The Bulgarians are settling in.
I know, it's...
I do feel a little bit sorry for Sebastian Sorensen, and we highlighted this during the deal negotiations, where obviously Vyacheslav Petkov had Onyan Dimov in his camp, and Rafaela Sorrentino was talking to Mustafa Kanat. Sorensen had no one. No one to advise him, no one here to support him.
I mean, that's when you know you've arrived, is when you've got an entourage. Like, you've always got, like, cameraman with you, a makeup guy, but those are all your family, and I don't know if that counts.
A makeup guy?
Well,
what is this?
I might have made that one up. But yeah, this job must be 3 or 4 times as hard if you're on your own. It's like the endurance and stamina required Doing it solo must be pretty tough.
Sorensen with a pair of 9s bets, gets a fold from Petkov, who had 5 high. And we play on.
Twitch chat is very, very fast to remind us that they are here for Scarf Guy. Very much weighted towards Sebastian Sorensen here.
They should have sent out a representative for the deal making, just like the Twitch logo. You know.
Or just carried out the laptop to him and said, look at the love.
But they would have advised all in, so.
Yeah, also, I'd like to point out that that love didn't save him 15,000 euros, did it?
True.
Nico observes on Twitter that as long as Sorensen is a Dolphins fan, he is bound to finish second. Poor dude. Ah, memories of the Super Bowl 1984. Petkov limps with the ace-8. Sorensen decides to raise with king-5 of diamonds, makes it 3.6 million. A reminder, the blinds right now are 500,000 and a million, just like in Casino Royale. Petkov moves all in.
And now Sorensen is spot again, making quite a big raise, has invested a lot of his stack into the pot. Definitely not a premium hand.
You're running so good on a flick. I don't know if I dare calling you.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
So Sorensen lets it go. 30 big blinds for Sorensen, 20 big blinds for Petkov. Girl on the sofa is also part of hashtag Team Scarf Guy. Steve Fair tweets, my review of the PokerStars Championship Barcelona, the stream, the poker, the players, wow. Thank you, Steve. Hashtag PokerStars TV. If you'd like to get on touch, happily answer any questions you may have.
A little bit disappointed we didn't get mentioned in that review, are we? Having words.
Sorensen
3.4.
opens with king 6. Petkov is dominated with queen 6.
And a little bit tighter of a heads-up match than normal. I guess understandable. Given the stakes. What's at play here?
And again, I know I've already mentioned it, but I just refer back to anyone that was in the chat that was really disappointed that they made a deal because they felt like, well, that was game over. I think this proves the point that both the 100,000 euros, and let me just say that again, a 100,000 euros plus the title, plus the trophy, it does mean a lot to these guys. They are going to play this out just as determined as they would have been had no deal been made.
Couple trashy hands here. 5-4 and 4 deuce. Who's gonna take a little bluff at it? Or what they think is a bluff. Petkov actually has the best hand here.
Probably never, ever, ever would have thought that, but yeah.
Oh wow, the day has come when we're getting Twitch memes on Twitter. Matty says, Scarf Guy, take my energy.
Wow, that is a real clash. Clash of social media etiquette there. Good job, Matty.
What have you done? Just wait till you see the Twitch chat in 10 seconds.
They are not going to be happy with that.
Dexter says, can you explain what exactly happened in the deal? There's a three-way deal between Sorensen, Petkov, and Rafael Sorrentino, who was still in at that stage. And basically, they were all pretty even in chips, and they redistributed the prize money, leaving 100k aside, which they're still playing for, along, of course, with the trophy. But that's how they broke down the prize money. Sorrentino walked away with 850,000, which is an additional 300k to what he would have got had he busted in third without any deal being made. Sorensen also locking up better than second place money. Petkov, who had the most chips at the time, has locked up more than 900k, but remember, whoever wins out of these two guys is going to get an additional 100,000 euros. Deals are allowed in poker. It's the players' money. They pay the buy-ins. The prize pool is made up of the money they pay to enter the tournament, and as long as the tournament staff can supervise it and sign off on it, deals can be done.
Big hand here for Petkov. But again, only having one piece of the puzzle. Sorensen doesn't have much to go along. Now does flop a middle pair of sixes here.
Petkov just limping in here again with a premium hand seems to be almost like he's limping in more often with the good hands and raising more often with the junk hands.
Betting a call. And a 7 on the turn. We have seen Petkov bet a decent amount of turns. He does continue with the aggression.
Not this time. He checks behind. Queen on the river. Sorensen still good.
It's a pretty good spot to bluff for Petkov if he gets the opportunity. Sorensen, when they have a 4 or a 6, can be really scared of this river card. But it goes check, check. Sorensen takes it down.
A couple of tweets to hashtag PokerStarsTV. Alexander says, amazing poker experience. So sad it's nearly over. We don't know that. Big thanks to everyone involved. Yellow Hannah tweets, please read this out for my dad. It's his first time watching the stream. His catchphrase is, surely he'll bet this. And he says it about every single hand.
I like the aggressive play. That's good.
So let's just channel Hannah's dad right now. As these two players go to the flop in an unraised pot. 10, 6, 5. Sorensen first to speak. He's got top pair. Surely he'll bet this.
I think it's a good idea. Loading up again on quite a sizable bet. Petkov has a whole lot of nothing right now.
And Petkov folds. KO Jote on Twitter observes that the live audience is behind Petkov, all those Bulgarians on the rail, but the entire internet supports Scarf Guy. Let's go.
But a 2-1 chip lead here for Sorensen, Scarf Guy.
There have also been a few comments, hashtag PokerStarsTV, about the fine work that the dealers have done at our feature table all week. And absolutely, we salute the dealers on the tour. They are the best in the world. I think Daniela's at the table right now, and she is always on point.
Very pretty 9-7 of clubs. Just limping into the pot.
Petkov goes for it with king high, gets a quick fold. Mike H asks, how much did Sorensen qualify for? We mentioned that he won his seat online on PokerStars. We did the Road to Barcelona promotion earlier this summer, and he won his seat in an ultra satellite where there were 50 packages guaranteed. He paid 215 euros, and won a package which brought him here to Barcelona and his entry to this €5,000 tournament, and he is now guaranteed €887,000 and could potentially win close to $1 million if he takes this down.
I played that one. Good satellite.
Plenty of value in that one.
Meanwhile, we've got an ace-jack on the button for Petkov. Just limps in again. Up against a 6-deuce. Oh. No.
Two pair for Sorensen, just ace high for Petkov.
Backdoor hearts. Come on, let's be positive about this. $2.2 million in the middle after everyone just limped into this flop. Now a big bet.
Petkov sitting here with ace high. This could be the best hand a decent amount. So if the hand ended now, you'd call.
Yeah.
But facing a turn bet is really difficult.
Now what about this 3 million into 2.2 business?
We've seen a lot of overbets from Sorensen recently. I think that's just the bet size Scarf Guy's going with.
That's fine by me then, as long as it makes sense.
9 on the turn. This is not a great card for Sorensen in that it's going to scare Petkov away from this pot quite a bit. Petkov doesn't have too many options to continue here.
Robbie Crabtree asks on Twitter, how much play do you think is left? I have no idea, Robbie. If you'd asked me that 3 hours ago, I would have said an hour, and I would have been wrong by 2 hours.
I think we have done enough of these to know you just don't call it until there's literally someone standing on the screen holding a trophy.
Sorensen wins another pot. Martin asked, why are players putting out 100k in addition to their blinds at this final table? That is the ante. So both players post an ante of 100,000, and then there's the small blind of 500,000 and the big blind of $1 million.
That's a big difference between cash game poker and tournament poker, in that tournaments commonly have an ante, which generates action. Cash games usually just have the blinds.
Roberto da Silva says, Scarf Guy needs a pom-pom girl to complement the Bulgarian rail on the other side of the room. I have to say, it's great to have such a big crowd watching this final table inside the casino. A lot of people getting quite invested in this heads-up battle. 6.5 minutes to go until the break. Can we push this bad boy towards its conclusion before then? And 157 is underway. Sorensen has called with King 5. Petkov checks his option with Jack 8. A Queen 10-7 flop. Action goes check, check. Deuce on the turn.
Sorensen still ahead with his king high.
Petkov with the best draw, if you can call it that, just a gut shot. A 9 would make a straight. It's something.
It is. No, it's a very legitimate comment. Let's be positive again. Let's make good things happen. And that was all the impetus Petkov needed to bet. Worst hand wins.
Ryan Cox says, someone please explain the dolphin scarf for Sorensen. Well, I'm assuming it's the Dolphins because he's a fan. He does like American sports. We know he likes MMA, for example. Why he's wearing the scarf over his mouth, well, that's a different question. And this is to do with poker players trying to hide visible signs of what's going through their minds. Neck pulse, mouth twitching. trying to avoid giving off any kind of information, Jamie, that they may be unconsciously transmitting.
Absolutely. It's something you see a lot more in the highest roller tournaments, the 50Ks, the 100Ks around the world, but it's trickling its way down through the poker world. Big hand here for Petkov.
Once again, from the button, just limping in. He's limped in with a couple of the ace-jacks, and now with pocket jacks. Trying to induce a bit of action from his opposition.
Is it going to work this time?
I think he's going to get it. Yes, that's a raise from Sorensen. With 6-3 offsuit. So he's fallen into the trap, but I imagine now when Petkov re-raises, it's a very easy fold.
This isn't a hand for Petkov where you can slow play in this situation. Too many bad cards that can come off, like a queen or a king or an ace. If you had aces, you could consider it.
Yeah, the pocket jack's just too fragile to play around with.
Jokes. That's a call.
Wow.
Oh!
Petkov does have position. He's got the button, but he is not re-raising. He flats. And with a not insignificant pot, we go to the flop, which is ace, ace, queen. And that's exactly what you were talking about, Jamie. You hate that if you've got jacks.
Oh, this hurts. I'm excited to see Petkov's face. Let's see if there's any... Is the brow... Okay. He's holding it together. You gotta be tilted, though. Well,
Sorensen didn't bet. Petkov doesn't bet. Turn card is a 6. Sorensen now with a piece of this. But Petkov, a 95% favorite.
News has gotten a lot better for Petkov because I think Sorensen could actually put in a bet or call a bet now.
There's 9 million in the middle. Petkov has 11 million behind.
All in.
And look at that. Sorensen shoves on Petkov. It's now all in to call. And this is one of the situations where he's probably not overly worried about the ace, but he's got to worry about that queen.
This is an unbelievable play. I don't know what to think about this.
And just to be clear, this is a decision for his tournament life. Now, we can see he's a 95% favorite. He doesn't know that. If he calls and he is wrong, let's say, for example, Sorensen shows up with an ace or a queen, he knows it's over, bar a jack hitting the river. In reality, if he makes this call, he is certain, almost certain, to get a full double up.
Well, the thing is, the line doesn't make very much sense. You know, it's check, check, and then a shove on the 6th turn. If you have an ace in your hand, why are you scared? Why are you shoving for over the pot? With an ace in your hand, it doesn't make any sense. If you have a queen, if you even want to bet in the first place, why would you shove for 15 million, effectively?
But the fact that Petkov just limped in here to start with, does that maybe affect the situation so Sorensen just has no idea that he's up against anything?
He might, but the question remains, if he's against nothing, is he value betting or bluffing? So it's completely out of the ordinary. One thing's for sure, Scarf Guy has got some swagger. He's doing big things. And now Petkov is in a 6th spot with one of the best hands in No Limit Hold'em.
It's just so amazing to watch the guy who is a 95% favorite just absolutely hating everything about this spot.
But I can understand that. And he's now thinking, why don't you just lump it in pre-flop? Instead, he's put himself in this horrible situation as the seconds tick down on the clock. He knows the blinds are going to be going up in 45 seconds. And here's the short stack. It's been in the tank now for 2.5 minutes, near enough.
You can feel the tension.
And you can see his whole cards in his shades, and he's pushed them forward. He's folded. Wow. Folds the best hand. He was a 95% favorite, but he had no way of knowing that.
The downside of your good 4-shot
And I think we're going to be able to squeeze in one more hand before we go on break, because I think the shuffle started.
Do we play? One hand.
One more hand at 500,000, 1 million with a 100,000 ante. And if it's not over on the next hand, guys, we're going on a 20-minute break and we're coming back with blinds at 600,000 and 1.2 million.
Record breaking.
Record equaling.
Well, sport. Man, and neither player there has any idea of exactly what the hand was that they've just absolutely screamed through.
Hello to Shikar on Twitter, who says, this is the first time I'm on Twitter, and why? For Scarf Guy. Love and support for this lone wolf. He is a star.
Nice. Welcome.
Now Petkov has a spot here. Sorensen making the typical really big raise. Petkov has a hand that flops quite well. A hand you could consider calling and seeing a flop, even though you're very short stacked.
I mean, that's a third of his... Where are we? He's sitting on 9.9 million. Is 2.5 more to call. It's a big investment to go fishing. But that's the point you're saying, is that the Queen 9 suited is good enough to take a flop.
I think it's worth it.
Make that investment, see how things go. Got to turn this ship around.
It's the call from Petkov. Etienne Kruger asks on Twitter, do you guys know what you'll be eating during the 20-minute break? Hot dogs, Etienne. Thank you for asking. Hashtag PokerStars TV as we see a Jack 5-5 two-heart flop. Petkov flopping the flush draw. Sorensen ahead for now with King High. It's literally 50-50, or actually 49-49 with a 2% chance of chop.
Thanks for clarifying that.
So Petkov checks here. Action on Sorensen. I think I like a shove from the Queen 9 of Hearts. Sometimes get a King High type hand like this to fold by moving all in. That said, Sorensen's action. And I don't see how either player could fold if Sorensen decides to put in chips here. Flush draw for Petkov.
Well, Petkov is playing 7.4 million. That bet from Sorensen is sizable. Looked around the 4 million mark. Sorensen now shoves. It was 4.5 million from Sorensen, an all-in for 7.4 million from Petkov, and Sorensen has to call. He's priced in.
It's only 3 million chips, 19 million in the middle. You hardly ever have to win here. Even if your opponent turned up a jack, you likely call with the king.
He's getting a ridiculous price. 3 million to win 19 million. I mean, you can't bet 4.5 and then fold for another 2.9.
He is Scarf Guy, though. He does these crazy things and they work out.
Well, you say it's crazy, but that's actually an incorrect play. He should not have folded that hand. Petkov wins the last hand of the level, and we are going on a 20-minute break. And when we come back, even bigger blinds. 600,000, 1.2 million with an ante of 200,000.